Welcome in. As a lifelong fan of the Tony Hawk franchise, I wanted to talk about the new Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 and 4 Remastered. Am I late to reviewing this game? Yes. Do I care? Nope. Let's dive in. Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 and 4 Remastered is everything I expected. Take the Pro Skater 1 and 2 remastered formula, remaster the third and fourth game's maps, and boom, you've got a recipe for success. Let's break down the pros and cons before we get into recommendations. The pros. The first thing I want to talk about in this game are the controls. It's tied with Pro Skater 1 and 2 for having the best controls in the franchise. These skating mechanics feel weighted in a good way, and the sounds of jumping and grinding are as crispy as ever. The game looks good, sounds good, and feels good. There's not much better you can get from a game feedback perspective. The game also structures the remasters into 2-minute classic mode, which was a change for the fourth game. I might be in the minority here, but I wasn't a big fan of the open world that Pro Skater 4 had. I didn't really want to play tennis with my skateboard, and it felt like it dragged the game on for too long. Ultimately, when I heard that the fourth game would be structured like classic mode, I said fine by me. As a fan of classic mode, it worked well in my opinion, and it was fun skating in all those locations with the classic mode structure. The coolest thing they added to this game were the pro goals. As a veteran of the series, I was growing nervous about halfway through that the game was not difficult enough, and that the exclusion of a sick mode akin to the previous titles had me a little weirded out. But the substitute for that sick mode are the new pro goals, which is kinda genius because it encourages even newbies to try the hard mode without having to really restart the game with the same goals. And as a series veteran, they provided a decent enough challenge. That's where I enjoyed playing the game the most, and trying to break some of the scores provided some much needed difficulty and skating know-how to complete. They're not the hardest thing in the world, but it was enough to keep me entertained. This should be a new series staple, and I would even say that they should up the pro goals from 5 to 10 in future titles and keep me skating. The maps in this game are pretty good too. I'm a big fan of Shipyard, Kona, Foundry, and more. There's not many complaints other than some specific maps where they might not have the best flow. Maps like Suburbia and Skater Island come to mind. And it's not even a huge deal, because part of me feels like I'm just not used to skating on them yet. Maybe it's just me. The customization in this game is pretty nice too. I love creating my character, and there's all sorts of cosmetic options to choose from. There's even some fun animated options you can unlock when you do certain objectives on the maps. There are a couple negatives that I ran into during this game too. For those who did like the non-linear Pro Skater 4, you'll probably be a bit disappointed because that structure is different. I totally get it. I will say that skating on those levels is still a ton of fun, but there's definitely a decent chunk missing from the original game in terms of side quests and secrets. The other thing that I noticed is a couple issues with the controls. First off, for some reason my controller isn't recognized when I boot up the game, so I have to do some mouse and keyboard wizardry to get into the game so that my controller can be used. It's a minor inconvenience, but it's a bit annoying. I'm not sure if anyone else is running into this issue or not, or if that was just my experience. Another thing I noticed while playing this game is that the spine transfers behave strange in this game. I'm not even sure how to describe it, they just behave randomly. Sometimes you'll transfer to a completely weird half pipes, or transfer and fall into the half pipes and really screw up the combos. Unfortunately, this makes me not utilize one of my favorite mechanics in the series and is a serious detriment to the gameplay for me. Lastly, I'm not sure if this is just me not understanding the controls or not, but when reverting, I keep finding myself breaking down to a halt, which has screwed up many high score attempts. This has been frustrating me a lot, and I'm not sure if this has something to do with the game making me hard break while I'm hitting the button, or a button mapping issue. I'm not sure. Let me know in the comments if you've run into this issue. I don't think I've ever dealt with this issue before in a Tony Hawk game. And the last negative I could say about this game is that the destructible props that they have added around the map, while cool, can sometimes be deceiving for normal gameplay. During some of the playthroughs, there were a couple of times where I tried to stick or slap a wall and ended up completely bursting through it instead. It's rare, but it has screwed up some more high score attempts on my part. All in all though, to recap, the pros of the game, it's good looking, good sounding, good feeling, it runs well, classic mode with pro goals is awesome, the maps are mostly good, the leaderboards are cool, and the customization is pretty cool, and the secrets are a good touch. The cons is that Pro Skater 4 is in classic mode, and some people might be angry about that. The spine and hip transfers are goofy. There's some sort of weird revert breaking thing that might just be me. There's some occasional maps with a weird flow on them, and some of the destruction can be confusing. Ultimately though, would I recommend this game? Yes. Longtime fans of the series will enjoy it, even if they didn't like the changes to Pro Skater 4. And I would recommend the game to anyone who's looking for something a bit outside the norms of today's gaming landscape. These games live in a cool niche where they're action-packed yet strategic in a totally unique way. There isn't too much like these games anymore, so when a new one comes out, it's always exciting. This is a great Tony Hawk game, barring a couple of those issues, and has me looking forward to whatever is next for the Tony Hawk game series. Also, one last note, the leaderboard system is great too. I've been loving trying to crack into the top 100 high scores on the levels, and it adds infinite replayability in my eyes, so long as the servers stay up. That's something we've been doing on this channel, so if you're interested in some high score runs, go check some of those out. Some of it might not be super shiny and pretty, but so long as you crack into the top 100, I'm happy with that.